Hey, what's up everybody? BDF44 coming at you with another video. Alright, so I didn't even get through the entire video, I'm not gonna lie. I was listening to Trevor Lane. Welcome back, Trev, from your vacation. I was listening to him and he was talking about the prospects of what the Lakers can do in regards to getting players that can help us, of course, in the event that, you know, Russell Westbrook is a part of this team. Obviously, we don't feel as confident that the fit is very good. So we're trying to figure out if we can get this deal done. He was talking about the Kyrie Irving prospect, and he said that after the Lakers made a move to get a win-now piece back Patrick Beverley, he didn't think the Lakers would be willing to make another move in that vein for Kyrie Irving. I'm going to tell you the truth. I vehemently disagree. I actually, in my mind's eye, I imagine a piece like Patrick Beverley for the team that I'm building Kyrie Irving to be a part of. He's part of the dream. He's part of it. You need that defensive piece that can be interchangeable with Kyrie Irving to defend the players that you don't want Kyrie Irving to have to check. You want that help defender on the floor to help Kyrie Irving in the event that he has to deal with a backcourt that's incredibly difficult, and that we don't have the type of weak side that maybe we want to have. Maybe AD's not out there, what have you. Patrick Beverley is somebody who's going to help with overall assisting with Kyrie Irving / Russell Westbrook or any point guard that doesn't have defensive strengths in their game. That's what I believe his piece is supposed to be about. So while I do understand the mentality of not wanting to triple down and quadruple down on point guards, I don't look at Patrick Beverley as a point guard. I look at Patrick Beverley as a guard that specializes in defense, who can play both the shooting guard and the point guard position interchangeably very comfortably. Because I see him that way, we still got room for a point guard. We most definitely have room for a point guard. Now, if you're looking at it from a salary standpoint, his contract is what, $15, $16 million? Kyrie's at 36, so I can understand not wanting to invest that much in point guards that you probably won't retain past this season. But I want to retain both of those players past this season, so I don't have that mentality. I'm re-signing both of them. So that's kind of how I'm looking at that situation. I'd imagine I'd be able to re-sign Patrick Beverley at a much more affordable price upon his next contract, but then again, that's not guaranteed. But for the role that we're going to offer him, I don't imagine he's going to up his value like he did when he was with the Timberwolves. That's going to be difficult to do in any scenario with us because we got Russell Westbrook, or it's going to be Kyrie Irving. If we do the Indy deal, he'll have the point guard position to himself. But again, I don't think he's a point guard. It's sort of like what you got going on with Marcus Smart in the Celtics land. Yes. Does he play the point guard? For sure. Can he play the shooting guard just as well? Absolutely. He's probably better at the shooting guard. And most importantly, you want him to do most of his damage on D. Now, LeBron James is a ball handler. Obviously, you want him to have the ball in his hands a good majority of the time. But I think most of the time with LeBron also, you want to have a secondary ball handler. It's one of the things the Lakers have always liked about it's what I've liked about what the Lakers had in mind for LeBron. It's always making sure he isn't the only guy passing the rock around everywhere. So I also look at that as something that, neither Kyrie or Patrick Beverley are playmakers in that way. But I know Kyrie's going to make plays. He's going to do that enough to where he can be a secondary ball handler in situations where we need him to be. And, of course, we got other guys like Austin Reeves who are going to help with that. Scottie Pippen, as he steps up, definitely going to be that for us as well. So, yeah, I just look at Patrick Beverley and pieces like Patrick Beverley that are defensive-minded, who can shoot some threes here and there, that play point guard, 6'3" and under 6'4". They don't have to be considered your starting point guard. And usually, if you do that and you're intending them to be your facilitator, things don't work out for you. That's what happened with the Clippers. That's why they didn't get as far as they needed to, because they had him as a point guard without having another facilitator in the offense. It's like, no. You're using what Patrick Beverley is. Can he get some assists here and there? Of course. He's been playing the point guard position his whole career, but it's not his specialty to facilitate and all that. But you do want that player on the floor on top of LeBron James being on the roster. So that's what I got to say, man. That is my thinking. I don't believe that Patrick Beverley is a deterrent to us adding Kyrie Irving or another point guard or keeping Russell Westbrook and having a big role for him. It's just not. This thing is imagined for that player. This is built around the notion that Kyrie Irving's going to be here. And that's what I understand. So that hasn't changed. I know a lot of people are excited about the Pacer deal. If I didn't know that Kyrie Irving was still out there, I would be very excited about the Pacer deal too. I would. I don't hate it. I just know it's not the best deal we can get. And I know it doesn't make us good enough to win the entire thing. And I know that I'm not expecting as much Miles Turner as most. Not me. Not as much as most. So, it's one of those situations where it's like, do we do the Pacer deal? No. Only if we know Kyrie Irving is absolutely off the table. And that story's been told a million times on this channel. You know how I feel about that. Nothing's changed. They got to pay him or trade him. Period. So, that's where we're at and that's where we're going to stay. I think what it really comes down to, though, is what I don't like is the narratives being placed out there that this Pacer deal is something Laker fans should be excited about. That's only in place, in my humble opinion, because the agreed upon cap about the Nets being a championship caliber team. Because if they get off that square saying the Lakers should still hold out for Kyrie Irving and continuing to mention, like I keep telling you, that they have to either pay him or trade him, then that plays into the narrative of that team not necessarily being good enough and them probably not being best for trying to do this, is what I'm trying to say. That would mess their narrative up. Their narrative is the Nets are going to be a championship team and we're setting them up for failure and we can't wait to talk bad about them, and we're not going to let you know that yet. We're going to continue to tell you that we believe in this team until we start breaking down this team, and then we realize this team has about 5 players coming back from injury, all of which expect to play big minutes, none of which play defense, except for Ben Simmons. So it's like, all right, I get it, fine. But because that narrative is in place, they have to neglect certain things about other situations like the Pacer deal and how desirable it should be for Laker fans at this point. That's the problem. They're setting Laker fans up to want a deal that they're probably not going to get. One way or another. And that's what I don't like. That's why I want to always tell people what I see. Because, yeah, you can get excited about this Pacer deal because you believe Kyrie Irving isn't possibly still on the table. But I'm telling you that I still believe Kyrie's possibly still on the table. So if you still have the desire to want Kyrie on your team, that's something to weigh right now, because the media ain't going to tell you that. But it is what it is. I just don't think that's anywhere near to being done. I don't think KD wants to be in Brooklyn either. I don't think it makes any sense for him to want to be there at all. I think it makes sense for guys to want to go back because they don't have no choice, and to behave when doing so because that's what's sane. But nothing's changed. Where's the satisfaction in any of this conversation? Where is the agreement between Steve Nash and KD that we're waiting to hear about? Where KD and KD don't have any issues whatsoever after this man put his job up as leverage to get out of there, for which didn't work, and he's still there. I mean, where's the happiness in all of this? The only reason why I would otherwise believe there's happiness in this situation is because I shut my own brain off and start listening to the talking heads that tell me it's there. There's none. Just look at what you see. There's nothing there. So, I don't know. I can't stress it enough. Just Laker fans, just if you want Kyrie, he's still on the table. Don't let these people lie to you. And if you want the Pacer deal, I don't think it's getting done because Kyrie's still on the table. So that's what I think needs to be understood. Now, that doesn't mean I'm right. Doesn't mean I'm right. It just means that I have seen nothing, absolutely nothing, that makes me think anything over there going on in Brooklyn is okay as it pertains to those guys going back to the table and wanting to play one season as to which they believe they're going to win a championship. I just don't believe they believe that. I don't believe they believe that. I don't have any real basketball reason to believe they believe that, because I know that roster. It ain't. Believe me when I tell you, it ain't. So, as we stand, I do think the Lakers, if for some reason they have any way, and I haven't done the homework, I'd imagine there is none, but if there's any way we can get Miles Turner without giving up the requisite stuff it takes to get Kyrie Irving, I would do that. Okay? I would do that. Buddy Hield, I'm cool. I can't stress it enough. I like Buddy, but not as much as his price tag is worth. I don't look at him like that. I think he's yet to prove that. Sort of like THT. He's going to prove that maybe this upcoming season. But you had better understand that that is not what I believe his playing level is. It's not in my mind. And so it's like you're expecting him to come in here and be something that I don't believe he is. You're expecting Miles Turner to come in here and you're going to give up every other piece that you have to make any other future deals that just to complete the team. That's cool. We can complete an average basketball team so it'll be complete and it'll be average. And you will be completely out of the playoffs soon too. And it's like, we ain't shooting for that, man. We got LeBron James on tab. If we were shooting to be just okay, we should have traded him, should have traded AD and got back nothing but picks and been in the conversation from Wembanyama. There is no either or. I'm not in between in this situation as a fan. We've given up too much to acquire what we have. We messed up too much in our value already. And we're at this situation where you're at the plank. You're either going to jump or you're going to turn around. But you best believe there's going to be consequences either way. And now we got to go all in. So all in doesn't mean completing the team. That's not going to be good enough. And psyching yourself into believing that it is when you know it ain't. No, that is not what Laker fans are ultimately going to be pleased with. I don't care what they tell themselves. They ain't going to be happy when they get ousted out of the playoffs just because they're outclassed by a team they're not supposed to beat because the team just ain't good enough to beat them. And that's exactly what this Pacer trade is going to make us. Not good enough to beat Golden State. Not good enough to beat Boston. Not good enough to beat Memphis. Not good enough to beat several others as well. So if you're up for that, Laker fans, you just want to see your team get complete. Hey, that's what's up. That's what you're going to see. Complete garbage. But if you want your team to be up to par, you want to really see something that can actually have an opportunity at being great, you got to wait this out. Because ain't no other piece. Buddy ain't about to do none of that stuff that you need that Kyrie's going to do. The things that you need, 60-point games, stuff like that, you ain't getting that out of Buddy, man. I'm sorry. It's not happening. Miles Turner is great. He's going to block a lot of shots. He's going to hit a lot of threes. But where is he in his conditioning? Because he missed almost all of last season. Where's he at? And why is the team that's been so gung-ho about keeping him his entire career ready to let him go now? Why? I know why. Because they're rebuilding. They realize they don't want to be tweeners either. They're going after it for real. I suggest we do the same. My name is BDF44. I thank you all for watching.